Could Buffy the Vampire Slayer come back to our screens? I've got one thing to say.
Home sweet home.
Hey, welcome to the channel, Phil here. Today we're going to be talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The Fox Television Network's Gary Newman made waves earlier on in the week when he said basically that they would be up for having Buffy back on their screens, on their network. Well, damn, is this not the news we've all been waiting for? Well, probably not. Because he also said, when Joss decides it's time, we'll do it. I mean, it's good news, don't get me wrong, it's better that the network is up for it than not, but there's no indication that Joss is up for moving back to TV, let alone back to Buffy. But hey, baby steps, right? I mean, who knows if this gets enough traction, maybe they're testing the waters, maybe they're trying to tempt Joss back into the fold and into making more Buffy Slayerverse stuff on their network. I can only hope so, but you know, he's a bit of a movie star director now, movie director star now, so who knows? But I mean, this who knows, frankly. But one interesting thing from this is that they only want to do it with Joss. Joss doesn't actually own the rights to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They could easily go ahead and do it without him. The rights reside to the producers of the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie that was produced before the TV show, that again Joss wrote, but he signed away the rights when he did that, and when that didn't do as well as the producers hoped, they let him go make the TV show, presumably for a cut. But they own the rights, so Fox could easily just go straight to them and do it without Joss, but I think they know that us, the fans, wouldn't really be happy with that. Why would we go see a Jossless Buffy the Vampire Slayer? It makes no sense. So let's go hypothetical for a moment. Let's assume they do get him back. Let's assume they managed to persuade him to launch a new relaunch of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What form could it take? Well, I think there's probably three main options. Number one, complete reboot. The Battlestar Galactica model, if you will. Ditch all previous continuity, we start again with Buffy, probably played by a new definitely played by a new actress if you're rebooting it, being called as the Slayer for the very first time and having to go through all of that again. It'd be a new actress, it'd be a new supporting cast, it would be new plots. It would be completely pointless doing this and telling the exact same plots all over again. Not that there won't be any of the same characters, you might have an Angel, you might have a Spike, you might even have a Glory and a... what other bad guys were there? A Mare and things that come into it, but I would think if they did do that route, they would not have exactly the same storylines as before, because where would be the surprise? Where would be the tension? You'd know what was going to happen. So if they do go down this route, I'd expect to see drastically different storylines, a drastically different take on the character. Option 2 is the continuation, the X-Files and Prison Break model, picking up where Buffy is in her life about 15 years later. There has of course been the Joss Whedon executive produced comic continuation of the Buffyverse and Buffy's story specifically, Buffy the Vampire Slayer's story specifically, and I hope they would keep the events of that canon. Joss wrote it, I hope he wouldn't completely write it out of continuity. Saying that, they'd need to relaunch the show in a way that didn't dwell too much on that comic continuity. Most of the audience wouldn't have seen it, most of the potential audience they would be wanting to attract would not have seen that comic, would not have read that comic, so they'd need to keep it in a kind of limbo between not contradicting it but not referencing it too heavily. It's a tough one, but it's possible. Now this option would require getting Sarah Michelle Gellar back. You can't recast that if it's not a reboot, I don't think. Can you? What do you think? I don't think so. So you'd need to get Sarah Michelle Gellar back, and whether or not she'd be willing to commit to another 7-year run, potentially 7-year run, is doubtful. I mean, she's not a bigger star as she maybe was when she first left the show, and in the few years after that when she was appearing in quite a lot of big movies. But, you know, her star has waned a little bit, let's be honest, and she might be... I still don't think she'd necessarily be willing to be tempted back for a whole potential 7 years. Now, an event series a la X-Files, that might be something she's willing to do. A single story, a single season, and then no guarantees of doing anything beyond that. And then there's no pressure to come back the following year. They might do another event series like they have done with X-Files a few years after that, and do it that kind of way so that she can have other projects in between. It's really the only way I can see that working with Sarah Michelle Gellar. And the final option is, of course, a spin-off, a la 24 Legacy. There are a lot of Slayers with powers now since the end of Season 7. A lot of that got explored in the comic books. And they're all still around. Unless, I'm a couple of years behind on the comic books. I think I'm up to the end of Season 9 of comic books. There was Season 8, 9... I think they're on Season 11 now. So correct me if I'm wrong. They may all be depowered, or who knows, maybe somebody killed them. Oh, I hope nobody killed them. That would be sad. But I'm going on the assumption that they're all still out there. So you could do it one of two ways, the spin-off. You could either have a ensemble series that does not focus on one particular Slayer as the lead. There's a whole bunch of them. Or you could focus in on one and have a Julie the Vampire Slayer series. Might need a better title. And hey, Sarah Michelle Gellar could even make the occasional guest appearance in that, so that's another option. What do you think? Which of those three options do you prefer? Can you think of another one? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and all that jazz if you want to see more pop culture related videos from me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.